Hey guys, it's Heather the Crochet Witch. How are you guys doing? So, welcome to WiP Weekend number 20. I think we're on number 20. The right number will be in the title, but I'm pretty sure I'm welcoming you to number 20. So, if you've never been to a WiP Weekend of mine before, I've recently started doing them again. We had done, 17, 18 of them, and then last week was 19, I hope, if my numbering is correct. Or 2 weeks ago was 19, I guess I should say. Where I have this enormous amount of WIPs, works in progress, if you're unfamiliar with the term, that I just had realized at some point, like, oh my gosh, I have this giant mass of them that they just need to get done. Like, I've been on such a ongoing endeavor to, I don't want to say like get rid of or clear out, but like reduce yarn. I still not clear it up or get rid of it still, but, yeah, reduce it is a good word. Get it all into one space, or at least like clean out certain spaces. It's a better word for it. Because like I'm in no way, like you're not going to see like the yarn wall behind me here or in my other room disappear. Don't get me wrong. But use through things that I have. Use through like the ones that I like to keep just because they're pretty. Like I want to use them. Right? Even like they're pretty, so I should use them, not they're pretty, I should stare at them and watch them gather dust. And that's the thing, like on top of just yarn that is that way, I have had projects just like sitting there like, I'll finish them eventually, I'll finish them eventually, I'll finish them eventually. And that pile kept growing and kept growing and kept growing. So to hold myself kind of accountable, or to let you guys help hold me accountable, I have started a WiP Weekend series. Where I'll show you obviously what it is and my progress on it. So the last few, because like when I had left off before and then picking back up on it recently, I had been doing, okay, this turned into something way different than it was originally planned to be. And that's the beauty of it too. Some of these projects aren't what they started out as. And this is kind of a shining example, right? I had started out, it'll be linked down below if you're interested in the actual original pattern. I had started out with the Fabulous Fall Throw from, I believe originally Red Heart, now Yarn Inspirations, right? Pattern. But it's a video tutorial, which is what's probably linked from the Crochet Crowd, from Mikey, the Crochet Crowd. Now I fell in love with the way it looked. I thought it was beautiful. It still is. It's beautiful the way he does it. It's beautiful the way it is in the pattern picture. It's a beautiful throw. However, when I picked it back up to start working on, I had just, like, the WiP I had worked on in this series before that was actually another Crochet Crowd throw. Not throw, big blanket. Afghan. And that one had made me realize how much I didn't like the big holes which if you're familiar with this one, you'll understand what I mean. The big holes that are in it. It's just a very open, it's the type of Afghan that's definitely meant for like laying on top of your bed and being like very pretty. You know, it's not gonna, I mean, it'll probably keep you warm to some degree, but it's not gonna be like the snuggly wrap up cozy. Not the way a lot of other blankets are. Let me put it that way. Not the way I think of blankets as. I'll put it that way. And so, my first like change to it when I picked it back up was, I don't like all these holes. I'm going to make a backing to it and make a second square that's a solid granny square, which I believe I have my tutorial for that linked down below if you need to know how to make a solid granny square. And I'm going to crochet those together. And I loved the effect of that. I loved it. I love it now. I love it. It made this really thick, squishy pattern, or fabric, I mean. It eliminated the hole because the granny square peeked from the back, and where it was like a lacy open pattern, the bigger block on the back, like slightly bigger, I guess, the way it worked out, kind of blocked it. So you really saw like all of the effect of the original, the fall throw square. Then it got pushed to the side when this series kind of went on its little hiatus. And when I picked it back up, it isn't that I didn't like the project, but I just realized how much I don't want to do more squares of the fall throw and more backing of it. Like if it were all done, I would have already loved it, and I know I would have loved the big, I wish I had the momentum behind it that I had from the start, I guess is what I mean. So I changed it up again and decided to make a smaller version because people had also pointed out, like, imagine, like, with it being that thick and squishy, imagine how hard it would be to wash. And you are absolutely right. It would be horrible as far as the washing goes. Because I mean, this is just made from a basic acrylic, so it is going to end up in the washing machine whenever I want to wash it, if I decide to keep it, or whoever washes it with, when they have it. I'm sure it will end up in the washing machine also. So I made it into a 12 square, like a 4x3 block blanket, and I joined it with just my continuous join, which is probably also linked down below. I'm sure I will have linked it. And then I still wanted it to be a bit bigger, and I know I'm not showing you yet, because if I show it to you, spoiler alert, it's done. I just wanted to explain my process before I show it to you. I wanted it to be bigger still than what it was, but not continue making the blocks. And if you had been following along with the whole journey for my friend Andy's blanket that I was making to deliver to him so that he could use it when he toured with his band, I wanted to make that blanket but do like a moss stitch border for it. And I had just ran out of time, so he only ended up getting like a simple border for it, which thankfully he was really happy with. But since then, I've been really itching to do a moss stitch border. So I decided to make a really thick moss stitch border. And that is what you have not seen yet, because I don't think the last week that I showed you I had fully gotten anything assembled, right? Much less started the border. So I'm going to hold it up, but then I'm going to show you like a picture of it too, because I laid it out already and everything. I will show, here's the border, because I'm so proud of this thing. The border, again, all moss stitch, the whole thing. See if I can get it close enough without knocking off some yarn that I have here in front of you guys. As you can see, I made quite a few rows of that, and it makes a pretty thick fabric on its own, which I love. Not as thick as this, and we'll get to that in a minute. But I really, really love it. I had decided to take, it looks like really, really busy, which I'm actually okay with because of the solid colorness of the squares. It looks busier than it is up close, I guess, because I had decided to do, there's one row each of the colors that I used, which these are all some of the older Impeccable yarn from Michaels. So they're just like the color, like carrot, I think, or pumpkin, chocolate, evergreen, maybe, gold, and I can't remember the crimson one, but it's just it's like a cranberry color. And then falling leaves is this variegated color in here, like right in the middle. So I had done one row of each of the solids. I did 2 of the purple, which is a Caron 1-pounder that I had just used to join and back everything, and I'll show you that in a minute, like I said. And then I did 4 rows of the falling leaves. So this all in here is the multicolor color, the variegated color. And then 2 more of the purple, Karen. And then I did 1 more each of the solid single, colors. Oh my gosh, my words. And then I ended it with 2 more purple. So yes, it is busy, 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 but it put, it's very thick. So it made quite a bit of width to the blanket to like just cuddle up under and have it a nice cuddle size throw. The squares that I was talking about. So like you can see how open and airy this, like imagine it without the purple behind it, how holy and open and airy that would be. It's pretty. It's lovely, but it is quite open. I mean, I could fit my whole hand behind. Well, yes, see, I can fit my whole hand behind here. So I mean, it's quite a big hole in each area too. And yeah, I was not vibing with that after I had it done, so I just ended up not doing that. The material is super warm, super squishy. See, here's the variegated. I did use 2 of those. And I only ended up with 1 brown. You'll see in the picture because, yeah, like you see how wide it ended up being. So it's a pretty good width. It's not like my full wingspan or anything, but it's a pretty good width. And like I said, I joined everything with a continuous join because I'm a big fan, if you haven't been around here, of the continuous join, because of how flat it leaves everything on the front and the back, and how it's no sew. You don't have to sew anything and it still get that flat join. I love it. But anyway, I did only have 1 brown made up that was backed. I had 1 or 2 brown that needed to be backed, but I was just so lazy and didn't want to do the backing anymore that I didn't use it. Yeah, I will put up a picture here to show you guys it stretched out on my floor. 'Cause like I said, I think it's a pretty good size. It definitely covers up, like it'll cover me up from like here all the way down my feet. Like it'll cover up me and Maverick, or Maverick can lay on top of it with me, or however he wants to do, because it is pretty warm. But it's a pretty generous size throw. I really like it. So yeah, I mean, if somebody ends up liking it more, I will end up gifting it, but otherwise it's something that I might want to keep because I do really like this one. We shall see where it ends up. I don't mind gifting it, but I don't mind keeping it either. I make a lot of blankets that I really personally like. So like if somebody does really super love it, it's cool. Yeah. But that is what I ended up doing. So hopefully you guys like it. I'm pretty happy with how it came out. Like I would have been, if I'd had the momentum, like I said, that I had started with, I would have been happy with the full throw and everything, but it definitely would have been really hard to wash and take care of and stuff. So I'm very happy with this one, the way it came out. And my only, not really complaint, because I think especially after it is washed or like after it's used some, I don't think it's going to be a big deal at all. But like when you saw the picture of me laying it out on the floor, and I don't know if it'll do it while I'm having it folded up, because I was going to show you. Let me see, will it do it? Not really. Like, see how, I don't know if you can tell with the camera, but see how this kind of poofs out a little bit? It makes, when it lays flat, it makes this corner kind of poof like this. So to take the picture, I had to actually go adjust it and make it, because just naturally these blocks are obviously twice as thick as this is. So there is, and I didn't think about that, or I would have just done a thinner border and just left it, because it does make a little bit of a poof right here. But like I said, I think that will work itself out a little bit, and it's, even if it doesn't, it's really not a big deal. Obviously being held up like this, it really doesn't do it at all. It's only when it's laid absolutely flat, and if you're covering up with it, it's not going to be absolutely flat anyway. So And for the picture purpose, I mean, it laid out pretty flat once I pushed the corner down. So, but yeah, the corners like to pooch just a little bit because of the pull, because the corners are or the blanket is so much thicker, I think. Because I definitely, after I noticed it after the first couple rounds even, I tried to make sure like that my tension in the corners on the moss stitch was like a lot looser and everything, just to make sure that wasn't it, and it wasn't it. So I think it was just the thickness of the blanket kind of tugging at it, I guess. I don't really know, but it's really not any kind of a deal breaker. I still am really happy with it. So completed, check mark. But yeah, so we can mark up one done. Now for the fun part. So I started to, well, that was fun too, but I started to pick a new project. And I mean, I grabbed two because I'll have to make a decision on this, but you guys may remember this if you've been around for any amount of time. Anybody remember this from a peek here? This is a pattern called, it's a shawl. It's a pattern called the Calypso shawl, if I remember right. Yes, the Calypso shawl. And it's a paid for pattern, I believe. But I really liked it because it has like kind of a granny part, like section, but then it's got kind of these wavy, funky lines. I've always thought it would look cool with like some 70s colors or something. And I've done it multiple times. Like I've gotten my money's worth out of it for sure. And I had started it in this yarn that I love so much. That is King Cole Drifter, and it's DK. This is in the shade Boston. Look at this beautiful. Isn't that gorgeous? I love it so, so much. If you are interested, because I believe you can still get this, I'm almost positive. This yarn is 25% cotton, 6% wool. Oh, I didn't think there was any wool in this. 25% cotton, 6% wool, and 69% premium acrylic. This is a 100-gram skein. There's approximately 329 yards, which is 300 meters. And, so yeah, super soft double knit yarn. It's beautiful yarn. I had wanted to use it for something for quite a while, and I decided to make this shawl. I have 2 balls of it left. And I do remember saying that it needed to be bigger and that I needed to buy more yarn, which I obviously did. I had bought it on one of my last Wool Warehouse hauls that I did, which I have a playlist if you want to check out any of my hauls. I have like a whole, if you want to watch any of my hauls, I have an actual haul playlist. So you don't, like if that's your thing, you can just look it up and see all the hauls joined together. And it's not finished off because I thought I would be adding more. So I'll have to check the pattern and see, maybe it'll be obvious where I wanted to stop. First of all, how gorgeous does that look? But this thing is big, guys. It's big. Like, I grabbed this off of my little pile upstairs of my project bags, and I pulled it out. Let me see if I can just put it on while I'm sitting down. And it goes down like over my butt when I'm standing up. I already know there's no room right here to stand up in. But just to show you how it looked while I was standing up even. Yeah, because I got it to wrap. I was like, it wraps all the way, like it wraps over my mid area there. It goes to here, and I bet I wanted it down to here, which will make it a really hefty sized shawl. So I guess I probably will go ahead and try to figure out if I remember the pattern right, it's written in like sections. I think there's 3 sections that she puts them off in. Maybe I'm wrong. and I'm just not remembering it correctly. But I bet I wanted to do like finish whatever section I'm on and do like another repeat, and that's why I got 2 more balls of this, is my guess. And if that's not what I wanted to do, I think that's what I will do now, because I think I have enough yarn. The only problem is also I have to remember what size hook that I used. The first thing I'll do is I know that it's not the recommended yarn, because usually the first thing I do if I don't remember with these is I'll check the recommended needle, hook or needle size on the yarn, and decide like, oh, did I probably just follow that? Especially if it's a really old WiP. Way back in the day, I tended to just use what the yarn asked me to. Then if I don't think that's right, I'll go through the pattern and see if that's what I used. And if that doesn't seem right either, trial and error, I guess. I'll not sew the end in as I go and see where I had, where I end up with it, see how it looks after a row or two. I feel like I used an eye hook on this. I'd have to go through some videos just to see if I even mention it, because I don't always mention it either. But I feel like I did. I'll see if the pattern says an eye hook, maybe that is what I used. But I love this. I love the, I don't often say this, especially if it's not something black, but I love the color on me, to be fully honest. Like, I think it's gorgeous. And as much as I love making shawls, there's like one that I've made that is out with me all the time out there that I tend to wear quite often. And then there's one in here that I keep that's real thick for when it's really cold in here. That I wear often in here. But other than that, I don't tend to wear a lot. But I feel like this is one that I would wear more often than any, because I really like this, you guys. I like it a lot. All of the other Calypso shawls that I got, or that I made, I think I've given away. But this one, I think I'm going to make it, and I think I'm going to keep it, and I think that I will wear it. So this is a possibility to finish up next. This was like the bag that I grabbed second, actually, because the one that I was going for, because I think this will be a quick finish, if I'm being honest, for the next one. Let me put this away, and I will show you my other choice that I'm deciding between. I think either one of these would be a quick finish if I just start making them, though, because there's not a whole lot of work left to do there. Some of you guys will probably remember these, but I had started making this stack of grannies, various greens and blues, right? I had solid grannies, which again, I believe my pattern for them is linked down below. I at least know what size hook I had with these. These are an H hook that I know I used. But I made these out of cloud cakes. One cloud cake got me this pile. So I had this one. I had this one. And obviously I didn't color control anything. This is just letting the color flow. And this was one of the original cloud cakes. And I want to say the color was seaweed, which might be one of the ones that came back. I honestly can't remember right now. But I didn't want to buy any more, right? So I had, I believe there's 8 full squares here. I know Poison Ivy came back, or that was like a limited color that when they did come back they did, and it looked a lot like this. Sorry if I just hit you guys. I think I hit the microphone. And then for the 9th one, this is how much I had, which obviously is not big enough, because at first I thought, well, if there's 9 squares worth, I'm just going to make a 9 square blanket, join it, and call it a day. But so the yarn that I want to join it with is this beautiful silver, which is called Cloud Gray, in the Cloud Cake variety. I don't know what I was trying to say there. And what I'm kind of thinking is, so if this would make 9, maybe I will make 3 more to make 12. So it would be roughly a throw size again, like kind of like the one I just made, like that size. because these squares are pretty similar, I think. Yeah, they're pretty similar actually in size. I may not do as intricate of a big border, but we'll see. And I could finish this off with either some of this or the darker gray version, because I have a darker gray out there. Like, I have a remnant of this and I have a remnant of the dark gray. I also have a remnant of a red one, but I'm not going to throw red into this, like that Merlot wine color. But yeah, I'm not going to throw that into the mix here. I'm going to stick with the grays because I know that I'm joining it with this. So I thought maybe I will use the dark gray, finish this in the dark gray, and see if I can make a couple squares out of that. And then maybe I might have to finish a dark gray square with this and then join it with this, and it would just be kind of patchworky all around, which I dig that. I think that'd be cool. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I just don't know if I'm going to do this next or if I'm going to do the shawl next. Stay tuned to the next WiP Weekend to find out. But yeah, so that's what I'm thinking is going to be one of the two for the next one. If you guys feel strongly about one or the other, go ahead and let me know what you think, or if you have any idea for finishing up this blanket, let me know also. But on that note, I'm going to go because I see this has already turned quite long. And I will catch you in the next one. I hope that the last of my vintage yarn is here tomorrow, so I will have something to show you there. I have several of them, but I have a couple more small packages coming in. I have like one skein from one seller coming in, and then like a group of 4 or 5 skeins from another seller coming in. I think that's it. I wasn't going to get the 4 or 5 skein deal, but it was literally a steal. I'll explain it in that video, but anyway, I'm going to go. I will talk to you guys very soon, tomorrow with something. But all right, I'll talk to you soon. I love you guys. Bye.